All right, welcome to what I hope is going to be the last video in this series of locating the lost USS Texas Virginia class RC submarine. We're out at Sylvan Rodriguez Park. If you've been following my channel, you'll know a little while back we lost it exactly 2 weeks ago, actually almost to the hour. So we're going to go back out once again in an effort to locate it, and also a battleship. So I hope you enjoy what's coming up. Hopefully it's going to have a good outcome. So let's take a look at our setup here today. This is the salvage ship, USS Salvage, I guess. Little different configuration than the one that you saw before. This is the front now. This is where our sonar transducer is for our Garmin fish finder, high resolution fish finder. Logan has our new, can you show our new and upgraded thruster? So I'm hoping for some nice velocities out of this thing. And that'll mean our search pattern can be executed faster, cover more area. The other thing we got over here is a little test rig, plastic tube. About 4 inches in diameter, about 2 feet long. That's going to be our fake submarine. We're going to go out here right now, drop it, and see what the fish finder tells us, what we're looking for. And in terms of the cast of characters, you got myself, you got Nicholas, who's been out as many times as I have. Actually, one more, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh wait, no, Logan and I went out once without you.
Yeah.
And Logan. So this is our victory crew today. The other thing we got going on, Alex, I told you in my last video, emailed me off of YouTube and said, hey, just so happens I lost a boat there too. USS Iowa Battleship. And if his estimations are correct, it's just on the other side of the fountain. So what we're going to do our test for submarine, see what that shows up like. Make that notation, and then we're going to try for a battleship, because I think finding an 8-foot or 7-foot long battleship might be easier than a 5-foot submarine. How we're going to get it up is another thing. He said there was about 15 pounds of lead, and if that's in 10 feet of water, we may need to do some fancy rigging with our salvage ship here. But at any rate, we're going to get started. We're going to check out our propulsion, see how that works, get out, drop our thing, and get this salvage started. All right, here we go. Yeah, we're moving.
Yeah, you got some speed.
What's the setting on the speed controller?
1,000. You can still go a little bit faster.
Yeah, we could probably go down to 900. Oh yeah, we're moving. We got a wake. Well, I'm gonna start prepping our test rig. So Logan's getting turned around. We got a buoys out over there. Hopefully they're still floating. I can't see. Yeah, I can see them. And we're gonna watch our fish finder and see what, if anything, is down there. 8.1 feet of water, 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, there's a turtle. Oh, he left. Looks like we got lots of fish action going on underneath. Come on, guys, let's watch. Look for the sub. Look for the sub. The fake sub. I didn't see anything. Those buoys just went directly off our starboard side. Okay, well, that's not promising, because in theory, we've got 2 different transducers in this majigger up here. One is the clear view, which has about a 50-degree sweep underneath, and the other one is the conventional sonar, which has about a 25-degree sweep. So when I did the math, it means at 10 feet of water, we got about a 3.5-foot swath with conventional sonar and about 8 with the clear view. So you got to get pretty precise to get over, which will be a lot easier to do with our stake and spiral thing that we're going to be showing you guys in a little bit. It'll be very, very precise. think that might have been the string. But I certainly don't see smoking gun in terms of a cylinder. All right, things are not looking good. Now, it could just be that the facsimile that we elected to use is not suitable, not real, which is funny because it picked up that PVC pipe. But this is not working. So we've driven over and over. We spread the buoys out and then driven directly between them. So like the tube has to be directly between them. Nothing. We're gonna go pick it up. And we're just gonna go over to where that Battleship sank and see what the water situation looks like and see if anything pops up on our screen here. That's all we can do. All right. We're on the far side of the fountain where the Iowa is supposed to be, and this is our plan. This is our central stake. So I got this rope that's tethered down by the bottom that swivels around it, and Logan's just going to go around and around and around in circles. When we get to the starting point, I'm going to let out about 3.5 feet, do another circle, let out 3.5 feet, let out another circle, blah, 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 until we feel like we're out of our search area. So let's see what happens. Yeah, okay. This is working really good. I got my post over there holding my rope. We're at 3 lengths out now, so about 10 feet, I'm gonna say. Letting out about 3.5 feet at a time. Water depth's 9 feet. And just watching the fish finder. Well, things are not looking good for recovery of the Iowa. We've done, let's see here, we're probably 40, so this is an 80-foot diameter, and it's raining. From the fountain, not from rain. We're gonna go in, recover our post, recover our rope, and move in and continue the search for Virginia. All right, we're set up in our new spot, which is basically where we last saw the boat. This is going pretty good. The water depth, it feels like the water level's lower. 8.4 feet is what we're showing here before, whereas before it was like 9.5. So I don't know, but you know, we just started. We've been here for, I don't know, 8 minutes. This is our 3rd lap, and we're just going to keep watching the fish finder. The way that was set up back over there with an 80-foot diameter circle, that's a lot of area covered. So hopefully with this will be thorough enough that if it's here, we'll see it. I want you guys to look at that clear view. That is beautiful picture. I am so confident that if we drive over this thing, we're gonna see it. And take a look at the scale on the right hand side of the clear view there. You can see in feet. So a 5-foot long submarine should show up as something a lot more than just a, you know, random blip or bump or discoloration. So after action report, no joy. We're going home once again empty-handed. Although I will say I feel much better about the thoroughness that we searched. That means that it's likely outside of the area. Now, we did pick up one blip that seemed like it was in a realistic area, but the problem is we went over it. I kind of dropped a buoy, but when we swept back to duplicate it and triangulate where it was, I couldn't find it again. So I think it was probably a big ass turtle or something like that.
Yep.
Now, at the end of the day, let's do some mathematicals. This is a 6th trip out, averaging, what time is it now? Noon, 5 hours each time. 30 hours times my shop rate means, in hindsight, it would have been more economical for me to have simply spent the time in the shop than it would have been trying to find this boat. So I'm not so much worried or unhappy with the fact we don't have the boat. I'm worried, I'm upset that we wasted so much time looking for it. But it's been a learning experience, and hopefully all of y'all will have learned from these circumstances. I don't know necessarily that mistakes were made. It just happens. This is the wonderful world of RC submarines, and eventually one day you're going to dive and it ain't going to come back up again. So it's going to happen over the course of a 25-year career. For those of you who haven't been following along, 2 weeks ago to the day, the USS Texas went down in Sylvan Rodriguez Ponds here in Texas. If you watch the video, I have a very regimented way of going about testing submarines, and something just happened. It would have had to have been some technical issue. I don't think it was user error, but the sub went down and didn't come back up, is the long and short of it. So to reflect upon this, and from a best practices perspective, Mr. Sub Ed was with me, and immediately we took 2 bearings to where it went down. We were ashore, and so when your sub goes down, sight along where it went down, find an object on the other side, and mark that mentally. So now you've got a line, a bearing to where it went down. If you don't have a second person, there's no way to reliably determine distance, but you will know bearing. There were 2 of us, and so we could get a rough idea of bearing from that. Nicholas was actually there. And so with a cross, you can determine where exactly you lost sight of it. Now, when you're talking about submarines, it doesn't mean a lot, but it means a little, because submarines can do a lot of things when you can't see them underneath the water. In this particular case, the Texas was headed completely straight. It wasn't in a turn or anything. It was in a nice, even, steady submergence. It was diving at the time, and we just lost sight of it, and it didn't come back up again. From a fail-safe functionality, the receiver had built-in fail-safe. Probably within 5 seconds, I lost telemetry, which basically means the fail-safe immediately kicks in aboard the submarine. The new radios allow you to set parameters for all of the functions that it controls. And so in this particular case, it is throttle to 0, rudder amidships, bow planes full rise, stern planes full rise, blow ballast. That's the 5 things that happen in this particular case. This boat, if you follow the build, doesn't have full static diving capabilities. It's a quasi-dynamic diver. It was ballasted positively. So if it just went under and lost signal, eventually, even if it stopped, it should have floated back up. And so it fouled on something. It was only really in the water for, I don't know, Ed, maybe 5 minutes, something like that. And it was sitting at perfect trim. When we dove it next to the pier, it was at perfect submerged trim, so it hadn't taken on water or anything. It wasn't negatively buoyant at that point. We only managed a half turn of our half lap before it went down. So long story short, it went down and did not come back up again. Fortunately, there was a local dive club, and I reached out to them immediately, and probably within 2 hours, I think, we had a diver on site to come out there and take a look for things. Water situation, chocolate milk is a good way of describing it. None of us knew what it was like underneath the water. I will tell you at this point, I am intimately familiar with the submerged terrain and topography of that pond now. Very intimately familiar.
But back then we didn't know. It ranges in depth from 18 inches at the shore to, it was at the time 10 feet of depth throughout the remainder of the pond. It's kind of a man-made pond. It's very, very even terrain. It's not up and down and left and right, but it's weedy as snot. Weeds range from a foot to 4 feet tall underneath there. And so, yeah, lots of things. And people love fishing there. And so there is fishing line everywhere, crisscrossing and left and right. And there's also a fountain in the middle that has ropes holding it that float on the surface. So those are fun to play around with as well. I've been out there 5 times. Last time was this morning. And we basically graduated from swimming out and diving with masks to getting a diver out there to going with a kayak and looking for it. I don't know what we were thinking when that happened, but to the final iteration of the search today, which it was our mobile command facility, the rescue barge, which consisted of a Garmin high-resolution multi-transducer fish finder that operated in 3 different sonar frequencies. And then we actually also had an ROV that we had sent down to look for it as well. And then there were different iterations of the actual search methodology. So today, the final search methodology for Logan and I, we went out to where we saw Submarine go down, staked a 12-foot long stake down into the bottom of the pond, tethered ourselves in the raft, and we began doing spirals. Now, the fish finder, based on our research, had 3 different, I told you, functions or emitters, transducers. There's side scan, which is useless. It's going sideways. We don't need to know what's beside us. We need to know what's under us. And then there's the traditional, which goes down at an angle of about 25 degrees. And so based on my math, which was confirmed by ChatGPT, at 9 or 10 feet of depth, we were only scanning about 3 feet directly underneath us. The clear view transducer at that 9 or 10 feet of depth actually was cutting an 8-foot swath, which made me feel a lot better about life. It uses a lot of sophisticated algorithms to help differentiate between weeds and terrain. If you watch the videos, it's actually pretty incredible. It's like you're down there and you can actually see the weeds, passing as you're going there. So our methodology, we staked it and we began spiraling. We did a lap. I moved out probably 2.5 feet, 30 inches, did another lap, 30 inches, did a lap, 30 inches, did a lap, until we had moved about 50 feet radius from the center of the stake. And so that's a lot of area. If you're talking about a 100-foot diameter circle being taken in 2.5-foot swaths, I feel very confident we didn't miss anything. It took us 3 hours today to do that search, and we were not fortunate enough to have located the boat with 2 different staked scenarios. So one of 2 things. The boat went somewhere completely unexpected. It must have submerged, leveled out, drove for 100 meters and rested somewhere. Or we didn't find it the first night. It popped to the surface and somebody found it the next morning and walked away with it. That's perfectly feasible, depending. Or the equipment that we have is just not finding it. It's just not pinging it. It's not seeing it. That's where we're at. So that is the story of the Texas. At this particular point, just before David chimes in, I am pulling the plug on my personal mission to recover it. Now, I do still have a bounty on it, and there's some divers who are pretty excited about getting out there and searching for it. But looking back on what I've invested, 5 days, 5 hours, well, no, yeah, 6 days, 6 times out, 5 hours each, that's 30 hours, times my shop rate, plus about $1,500 in search materials between ropes and buoys and stakes and rafts and fish finding equipment, means I would have been better off in hindsight if I would have just cut my losses and built another boat. So I'm not so much angry that I lost the boat. I'm angry that I didn't just, you never know, we could have found it. But at any rate, that's where we're at.